So you want to shoot high quality videos with your GoPro camera, especially the Hero 7 or Hero 8. Today I got 3 tips for you that make your GoPro footage look more professional instantly. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Pascal and I never use gimbals with my GoPro cameras because the stabilization is so good. Let's come to the first tip. And the first tip is to set your EV compensation in the GoPro menu to -0.5 or -1. And what it does is it darkens your image a little bit and therefore it preserves more details in the highlights in the sky, for example, while it still has enough detail in the shadows and mid-tone areas still. So that's at least what I figured out and the setting that I used most of the time over recent years. And the safe setting is here definitely -0.5, because under some conditions -1 is already a bit too much, then your image becomes too dark. So -0.5 works most of the time. Under some conditions, if you, let's say you have a nice sunset or so on where the details in the sky are really more important, then -1 can be the better setting. And the next tip is if you want to shoot in wide. So you can choose between linear, wide and super wide. And if you want to shoot in wide or super wide, then the problem is that at the edges of the frame, everything gets kind of distorted. Like if you place your main subject, a person for example, very far to the right in the shot, then the person looks a bit distorted, and that's obviously not what you want. And that's why you want to place your main subject all the time more in the center of the frame. The more it is in the center, the less distortion you have, and therefore it looks a lot better and you can't really see that it's a wide angle lens that you used. And the same counts for lines, for example, or horizon. If you have the horizon perfectly in the center of the frame, then it's actually pretty straight, it looks good. But if the horizon is at the top or the bottom, then it bends, and that also doesn't look nice in that modes. And you can especially notice that when you move your GoPro, when you create camera movement. So for example, in the shot that you see here right now, I tilted the GoPro up, and there you can clearly see how the horizon bends there because of that movement. It makes it really obvious, and I completely don't like that. So in that conditions, it would have been better to shoot in linear, because then you don't get that effect. But I can fix that in post by using a plugin called LX4D in Final Cut Pro 10, where I can get rid of that distortion effect, but therefore it also crops a bit in, so I lose quality there. That's why it's actually better to do it directly in the camera by setting it to linear. But as you can see right now, after fixing that, it also looks pretty good that you don't see this bending horizon anymore. And by the way, if you're watching this video, you might be interested in my GoPro video masterclass. There I teach you really everything that you need to know to shoot professional videos with your GoPro camera. It's good for travel videos, but I actually use GoPro sometimes on commercial shoots as well. So that course can really help you a lot. And actually a lot of the stuff that you learn in that course directly applies to other cameras as well. So it's also a good preparation to step up your filmmaking in the future by buying another camera. I will leave a link to that course in the description below, so check it out. And let's come to the third and last tip. And that third and last tip is to make sure that you have good light. Actually, let's turn on the GoPro here right now. Wait a little bit. And now you can see me in the studio here and shot on my GoPro camera. Now my light is actually a bit too dark right now. I did not have it set to full light here because the camera that I'm shooting with right now would then be overexposed and I couldn't set my shutter speed correctly. And on the GoPro that causes some noise right now. You can definitely tell that there's a lot of noise in the background going on. So if I would shoot in the studio with a GoPro right now, then I would definitely set my lights a bit brighter and therefore adjust the exposure in the GoPro as well. But what you can see in the shot here right now is definitely that from the light it actually looks pretty nice. Like my face looks pretty good, and then you see this nice warm background there. And this is what I mean with light. Like here I'm in a studio setting, I have control about my light, I have full control, so I can create the look of my video that I want to. So you likely want to use your GoPro more outside, right? So when you shoot outside, that means to get good light, you have to go for sunrise or sunset. It's usually the best time of the day to shoot videos because there the light is naturally good. You might have noticed that already when you go out in the morning, maybe you just get some breakfast somewhere or so, or drink a coffee, then it just looks nice how the sun falls in everywhere. And this is nice at sunrise. At sunset you have a similar effect, but I personally prefer sunrise. It just looks a bit fresher. I can't really describe it. It's just a bit nicer. And by doing that, you also ensure that the light is flat, so you can place the light behind your main subject. Actually, when you watch a lot of cinema movies or Netflix or so on, and you can usually see that there is a light source or the sun behind or with a slight angle to a subject, and therefore it creates some reflections like I did here with my backlight. And that makes your shot look pretty nice. Also, if you shoot in the noon, for example, and the sun is above your subject, it shines from the top to the face, then you get black shadows across the eyes. That's definitely not nice, and you don't have that for sunset or sunrise. Yes, sometimes it takes getting up early. I know this is hard, but therefore you will love the results later, and actually made me get up earlier a lot more and go for hikes or whatever in the mountains, because I just love the shots that I get then. So that actually creates good habits as well. So yeah, so much for the 3 tips today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, then please leave me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell notifications button for upcoming videos about GoPros and other cameras. See you.